Hello everyone, it's Angela from the Chaotic Life of a Planner. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be laying out my April budget. So I have here in front of me my CONDREN binder. I do love using the binder for my budget notebook or my budget planner, I guess I should say, because I like to be able to add additional notes pages as I need them. So let me zoom you in just a little bit. What I decided to do for my budget stickers for this month was to use a kit that I had already purchased from the Caffeinated Cait printable shop. I think this might have been January's. Let's see. It's February. Yes, this was, yep. Right here, actually, if I had actually paid attention, I would have seen that. So what I decided to do for my April budget was to use a kit that I had already purchased from Caffeinated Cait's printable shop. I'm trying to just save a few dollars in my budget right now. I do need to get quite a few things for May. I have everything I need for April for all of my planners and whatnot, but in order to save a few dollars, I decided to go ahead and just reuse a kit. And I totally think it will be fine. I'm obviously not going to use this January budget right here. I do have some stickers somewhere. I'll have to look for them in a few minutes where I'll be able to put April up here and all of that good stuff. And I think it will totally work just fine. If you are looking for a sticker shop that you can use to get your budget stickers, I highly recommend Caffeinated Cait. She has the printable shop, but she also has like the ready-made stickers as well, if print and cut is not your cup of tea. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and lay out kind of like my monthly budget overview. We do budget by paycheck, but I like to have a monthly overview as well, just to kind of see the big picture and keep track of things. So I will need 3 lines for income. My husband has retirement. He is retired military. And then he also has his regular full-time job. And then I like to leave a line for variable, which we don't really have a ton of variable income, but I leave a line there just in case, because you never know. And I like to use the thin washi to separate my income from my expenses. So let's see. You guys, in March was like terrible. Not that it was a terrible budgeting month, because it wasn't super bad, but you can see I didn't even fill out hardly anything. I did keep this. I have to update a few things. I never did my paycheck 1. I did paycheck 2. Paycheck 3 I can still fill out because it was just from a few days ago. So here is to making April a better tracking month. So let's see. I'm trying to look and see how many lines I'm going to need here. All right, so I think this is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my fixed expenses here. Now for me, fixed expenses are anything that if my husband were to lose his job, we would still have to pay. Like, obviously, most of your bills you have to pay, but some bills you can definitely call and maybe cancel part of the service or negotiate a lower amount or whatever. So that is how I distinguish between the two. We are fortunate in that I know a lot of people have lost their jobs or have had hours cut or, reduced I don't know, just a lot of changes as a result of the coronavirus. And we have had some changes, but so far, mostly our changes are schedule changes for my husband. But so far, everything is actually looking pretty decent, like we're not going to lose any income. We might actually end up even gaining a little bit of income just because now, rather than being at work for 2 weeks at a time, he'll actually be there for a total of 6 weeks, 4 weeks at work, and then 2 weeks being quarantined in a hotel. He will not make as much money when he's quarantined in a hotel. He normally works 12-hour days. They will only pay him for 8 hours while he is being quarantined, but I mean, I don't have anything to complain about other than the fact that he'll be gone for 6 weeks at a time, and that is kind of stinky, but we are just thankful that, it's looking like at this point, like he's going to be able to keep his job through this, which is definitely a blessing because I know that many people have not been so fortunate. So I am thankful for that. Okay, so I've got my lines drawn, and I think that's pretty much all I'm going to do at this point. I will go ahead and fill out, like I'm going to put my mortgage, my car payment. I also put like car insurance, even though if I needed to like increase my deductible or whatever to save a few bucks, I could definitely do that. I put utilities over here and fixed expenses, even though they might fluctuate a little bit. They are bills that have to get paid whether we want to or not, whether my husband still has a job or if his hours were to get cut. These are bills that have to be paid no matter what. These are like, well, for the most part, like 4 walls. And then I also put credit cards over here, even though, to be honest with you, if he were to lose his job, we would have to probably not pay all of our credit cards. We would have to definitely make some arrangements there. But that's just how I like to distinguish between the two. And then for my variable expenses, I decided that I was going to go ahead and add these lines. I wasn't going to at first, but I am going to now. For variable expenses, I will add in giving. Then we'll also have things like groceries, gas, orthodontist, etc. So that is what I'll put over here. Let me go ahead and add in our retirement, my husband's full-time job, and then variable. Okay, I think you guys have pretty much gotten the picture for that. Oh, wait a minute, let's see here. Yeah, that's all I'm going to do for right now. So, there's that. This I'll do later. Now we are in the monthly view, and I don't use a monthly kit. I used to use a monthly kit, like to cover the dates and all that stuff, but it just got to be too cluttered. But what I have done is when you order, well, first off, let me tell you, when you order a sheet of Bill Do stickers from Caffeinated Cait's printable shops, you get 2 options. You get this one that just takes up kind of like 1 line, and then you get these Bill Do stickers that take up 2. To be honest with you, I like the ones that take up 2, but they take up too much room in each box here. So this is what I use. There are some that have the blank checkbox for manual pay bills, and then we have auto pay bills. And then what I have started doing, you always get 3 colors. And for us, we have 3 paychecks. So we have the one that we get this day, and this is my husband's retirement. Then he'll get a paycheck this day and a paycheck this day, and those are from his full-time job. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the payday stickers. We'll do this one, this one, and this one. So since we budget by paycheck, what I like to do is use one color for each paycheck. So it doesn't always work out perfectly, but that is what I prefer to do if I can do it like that. So, for example, let me fix this a little bit. And if you guys have watched my budget videos before, I haven't done one in a couple of months, then you know that we are like front end heavy. A lot of our bills are due right here. So I don't necessarily pay attention to, like, if it's due on the 1st and I don't have enough room on the 1st, I'll add it to the 31st or even the 30th or even the 2nd if I need to. Okay, so we have my car payment. Then we will have fuel, and this is our heating fuel. We are on like the budget payment plan or whatever they call it, and that is so that we pay the same, oops, darn it. So we pay the same amount every month for the entire year. We've done that for like 2 or 3 years now, and it's actually worked pretty well for us. Heating costs here in Alaska are ridiculous. So this is $277 times 12 is what we pay for the entire year. Plus, we burn wood as well to supplement. So it's crazy. All right, let's see. I hope I'm going to have enough of this pink color to do all of this. All right, let's go ahead and start putting a few of these down. So my car will go here. My car is actually going to be paid off later this year. I am so happy because I am tired of paying for my car. We will likely buy a new truck or a new to us truck when my car is paid off, but it is what it is. Trucks are so expensive, but I know that I want to not have 2 car payments at the same time. So we will try and wait until my car is paid off before we do that, which, barring like a catastrophe, should be fine. All right, so now I'm going to add a couple over here on this day. I think I really only have one more. I need to write my mortgage on here. So this is pretty much all that we have due right here. I do have a couple of other bills, and I will go ahead and add those in. Let's see, let me add this one. Okay, so that's good for that. Then the next set of bills that I would have, let's see, would be like, I'm going to use this aqua color for the next set of bills. sometimes I like to keep a little sticky note right there in the notes bar just of some things that I have coming up that I don't want to forget. So anyways, you guys get the picture. The reason why I like to use these separate colors like this for each paycheck is because then when I flip the page and I do my actual paycheck budgets, it's really easy for me to look and see, okay, what needs to be paid when. I just started doing that maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and it's worked really well for me, so I just thought maybe I would pass that tip on to you guys. So the next thing we are going to do is I'm going to take a few minutes to finish putting down my bill due dates, and then we are going to go right to the paycheck budgets. So it's a couple days later. Apparently it takes me several days to completely film a budget video these days. So we have done the monthly budget. I haven't done anything with these pages other than set some monthly goals. And of course, now my dogs have decided that this is a great time to start barking upstairs. So if you can hear them, I do apologize. We have set up all of our bill due dates. The ones that I've checked off are ones that have already cleared my account. And then I did spend some money at the grocery store, and then we did have to get some propane for our external heater that we use in the garage. We typically only need to use it for when it's like super duper cold, like 40 or 50 below. However, one day this week I woke up and it was like 6 degrees outside and somebody had left the garage door open all night, so I had no water because it was frozen. Fun times in the neighborhood, guys. So that was how we fixed it. We just went and filled the propane tank and cranked the heat in the garage up to like 70, and then it was probably thawed within, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. So it was an easy fix. So the next thing we're going to do is set up paycheck budgets. Now, we have already had our first paycheck of the month of April. And my husband and I have had a budget meeting, and apparently we have to have another one today because he has some questions. This is what happens when your husband works out of town. Normally it's just 2 weeks at a time, but since we're dealing with, you know, these weird circumstances right now with the virus and all that stuff, he's actually going to be there 4 weeks. Right this very second. The next time he goes back to work, it will be 6 weeks. So I'm going to leave 2 lines for income, his full-time job, and then a variable, which I probably am not going to have any variable income this paycheck, but I will leave a line there anyways because someday maybe I will have variable income. You never can tell. And then I will leave my line for expenses. And then I will put paycheck 1 sticker right here. I used to not budget by paycheck, and it was just crazy. When we were still in the Army, and I have talked about this before, but when my husband was still in the Army, it was not super difficult to pay bills because we knew that we were going to get paid on the 1st and on the 15th. Now, we didn't make a ton of money, but we always knew when our paychecks were coming. And then once he retired from the Army and went to like a regular every 2 week schedule or whatever, it became a little more difficult, especially because his paychecks are not always the same amount. So anyways, once I started budgeting by paycheck, it actually got a lot easier. But you know, it was a struggle. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there was probably, at least for the first year, maybe even a little bit longer after he retired, that it was really hard for me to coordinate. Well, and the other thing about the Army is our paychecks were always the same. So that was easier too. We always pretty much knew how much we were going to make, when it was going to come. So it was just easy. Okay, these are the bills we pay on the 1st, these are the bills we pay on the 15th. And then once he retired and went to a kind of job that doesn't have a traditional schedule, you know, as soon as he retired, he was working at a mine before he retired, because he had so much leave built up in the Army. I think he got paid for like 2 or 3 months after he actually stopped working in the Army. They call it terminal leave. But anyways, so his paychecks are not always the same because he doesn't work a traditional schedule. So I really struggled. And since I've been budgeting this way now, it has gotten much easier. Like we haven't had a late payment in a long time, and you know, it's just much, much, much easier. So now what I will do is all of these pink bills are from this first paycheck. So I will just go down the list. I will put the due date, and I will also put how much is expected. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me do all of this. I will fill this out and I will be right back. Okay, so I have this done. Just so you guys can kind of see, before I have a budget meeting with my husband, like I don't start with this. I actually start with like this scrap piece of paper where I have all the bills, and then this is like all of the extras. And I kind of come up with some numbers, and then we sit down and talk about it. And like this time there was a lot. You can actually see I have lots of scribbles. There was some changing of numbers because we changed some things up a little bit. My husband typically doesn't take any personal spending money, but he has decided that he would like to have a little bit now. He's actually dabbling in what he calls day trading with Robinhood, which I have no idea what that even means, but that is okay because he does. So he is kind of playing with that a little bit, and it's not like a ton of money by any means. It's just a little bit. So, and then we did have some money go to savings, and then we're still making payments to the guy who is doing all of our house renovations for us. So that is where our extra money is going right now. We're not really paying a ton of extra on debt. We are paying a little bit, but we're basically just, all of our extra money is just being sunk into the house with a little bit put in savings just in case we end up needing it. I don't expect anything will happen with my husband's job with this current virus situation. I mean, they did change his schedule, but actually for us, it means that we'll have more money because he'll be working for 4 weeks and then he'll be quarantined for 2 weeks, and he does get some pay for the time when he's in quarantine. It is not the full pay that we normally would get, but that is okay. So let's see, how many lines do I need to have for paycheck 2? I'm probably just going to go down to the bottom again. And I think that will work out just fine. So I'm not going to fill this paycheck budget out yet because we don't actually get paid until the 9th. And I will not know how much that paycheck is going to be until one of these 2 days. So I will wait to fill this out until my husband and I have our budget meeting. We have 3 paychecks this month, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for paycheck number 3. Okay, So there is that. I didn't leave as many lines for paycheck number 3 because I can tell that I'm only going to have a few bills. This will come off this paycheck, and actually paycheck number 3 is going to be really small, I think, because it will only be like 4 days. My husband will only be at work for 4 days for that pay period. So there's that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, trying to think about this here. So I still have debt tracker, debt snowball, spending tracker, savings tracker, sinking funds. So maybe I will do my spending tracker over here. So I think sorry about that. My mother just texted me. I should have had my phone on silent, but I did not. So let me do that now. Okay, so I didn't actually completely cover this up, which is weird. I don't know why. Maybe... Okay, I'm actually going to... I'm going to just leave it, I guess. It's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. So this will be my spending tracker. And the types of things that I will track over here are like my spending money, like when I swipe my debit card, which actually, for the most part, my money gets moved over to my own account. And that way my transactions don't clog up the joint account. Otherwise, my husband is like, what was this $45 purchase to Etsy? And I have to say, don't worry, that came out of my money. And, you know, quite frankly, maybe I don't want him to know how much I spent of my money on stickers this month because, let's face it, most of our husbands might be like, that's a little bit cray-cray. Not that he would be okay with it, but he might make that comment. So there's my spending tracker. So I haven't been very good at filling out my spending trackers, which I know doesn't surprise you guys because I haven't uploaded a budget video in so long. So anything, like I also track business expenses over here, or I try to. If I spend anything like on the kids, I put that over here. Any debit card swiping that doesn't fit the normal categories that I track here, which would be like groceries, gas. If I swipe for household, I will keep track of it over here, but I might also write it over here as well, just so I can say, okay, we had to buy salt from the water softener. That's what it went to this time. And mostly that's just so if my husband has any questions, I can look in here and remember what it's for. The thing I want you guys to know is that everybody's budget looks different. The way that people track their budgets, it doesn't always have to be the same, and that's okay. That is completely okay, because there is not just one way to do it, and that doesn't make it wrong. So you might watch 10 different YouTubers budgeting videos and decide, okay, I like this, the way that this YouTuber, content creator, this person, whatever you want to call it, I like the way they do this. And then you might watch a Shay Budgets video and be like, oh, I like the way that she handles this better than the last person. Or then you might watch a Sarah Marie and be like, oh, I like this about her budget videos. Or then you might watch a Stephanie Ann Plans and be like, I like the way she handles this. So, and it's totally okay to do that. And you guys can see I'm going to have to punch my holes bigger because these don't necessarily turn that great, but I'm going to just see how it does. Anyways, what I was saying is it's totally okay to do that, and I would expect you to do that because none of us have it all figured out. I mean, there are things that we can all improve on. Well, except for maybe Shay. Shay and her husband there, they got their finances going on, but you know. So anyways, now I'm going to do sinking funds, which I've told you guys this before. Sinking funds are fairly new to us. we're not that great about it. But I do actually plan to make some cash envelopes this week because I want to start just having 5 or 6 funds that I pull $10 or $20 from every payday, and no matter what. Well, his big paydays anyway. The small paydays, there aren't enough. So I have like 6, 7 sinking funds that I want to start pulling money out for. I'm going to go ahead and leave a couple of extra lines too, just in case my husband is like, yeah, I think we need to add this or add that. And then I'm going to go ahead and completely fill this out because I want to show you guys the funds that I'm going to start pulling cash for. I think that some of our sinking funds are going to be better off put in a separate account, but until we get into the habit of funding them on a regular basis, I'm going to pull out cash. And I will explain to you in just a minute why I think that some sinking funds will be better off put into an account for us at this particular moment in time. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for sinking funds. And then the funds that I want to start funding, and I don't know if we'll fund these with just like $10 or $20 a payday, something just to create that habit, will be car maintenance, and then Christmas. And this is exactly right here why I don't want all of our Christmas fund in cash. And that is because we don't have a local bank. We bank with USAA. And once Christmas gets a little bit closer, I will be ordering things online. And it is not easy to deposit cash to USAA because, you know, we don't have a local one. So, I mean, I guess I could have it made into a money order and then deposit it that way if I wanted to. But I mean, I guess I could just keep cash for like my Black Friday shopping or what have you, because I do use some cash. So these are the ones that I want to start with. Haven't talked to my husband about this yet because we haven't had the budget meeting where we're going to start doing these. But I have car maintenance, Christmas, hockey. My kid played junior hockey last year, and he's planning to play junior hockey again this year, and it's expensive. It's really expensive. So we need to start, we just cash flowed it pretty much last year, but I'm going to be honest with you, it was about $10,000. So we need to start saving some money for that. And I figure if we start saving some cash for it, even if we need to use it for whatever gear he needs to replace or whatever, we could do that. And then we have travel, which right now we're not traveling anywhere because of the virus, but you know, eventually we will. Clothing, pets, and then household. So that is what I want to start with. We'll see if my husband thinks that we need to add any others or if he thinks that that's a good start. And I'm going to make some cash envelopes for those. And those cash envelopes primarily will be just left at home, so I'm not always traveling with them, you know, when I go into town. So the next thing will be the transaction log for my sinking funds. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this totals button down, or totals strip down here, even though I don't think I'll have that many transactions from them. I did pull out cash for pet expenses yesterday, but then I spent it. So I'm actually not going to count that in here. Well, maybe I will. We'll have to see. I'll think about that. The one thing that I like to do about the transaction log is even if I don't actually, if I'm not filling in my sinking funds, if we have a pet expense or something that we've spent money on that would typically be a sinking fund, I like to write it over here so that I can look back over the last year and say, okay, we spent, you know, $750 on pet expenses, which would actually be more than that for us because of dog grooming. we have 3 dogs that have to be groomed. But anyways, I can look over my budget from last year and add it all up and say, okay, we thought we really only needed to be saving $75 a month for pet expenses, but really we need $125 or, you know, whatever. So there is that. And then I have debt tracker, savings tracker, and then the dreaded weekly check-in, which you guys know I really struggle with. I hate it. So I think I'm going to do savings tracker right here because we really are working hard at saving a little bit of money. Even though I was talking to my husband last night, it's really hard to figure out. I did not do a very good job cutting these. I must have picked the wrong file because they don't usually cut like this. But yeah, I must have picked the wrong file for sure. Anyways, it's hard to prioritize. Okay, we have, you know, $600 left after we pay bills. We need to, or whatever that number happens to be, we need to make a payment to our contractor. We need to put some in savings, and then what do we want to save to go towards house expenses that we're doing, or, you know, house renovations that we're doing, such as like my kitchen flooring, or what do we want to put towards debt? So honestly, we're not putting a ton towards debt right now because when we sell this house, we're going to make enough money off it to be able to pay off all of our debt and still have a sizable down payment on our new house, which when we bought this house, we did not have a down payment. We bought it with a zero. We used a VA loan, which was $0 down. So we don't want to do that with our next house. We definitely want to have a down payment. I don't know for sure if it'll be 20%, but it'll be close. So let's do the savings tracker there. I'm trying to think if I want to do debts. Yeah, let's do debt snowball here, even though let me do it this way. We don't have a huge debt snowball right now, but we are going to put some extra towards debt when we get paid next week, because, well, just because we've just decided we're going to put a little bit towards debt. Even if it's a couple $100s, it will be worth it. And we have paid off 2 debts, which did free up some money, so that's nice. Okay, we'll just do that. And then I'm going to do my debt tracker over here. And then I think that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do my weekly check-in, and that is primarily because I don't track at this point on my cash envelopes. Like if I pull out $150 for groceries, then, you know, I don't care if I spend $50 of it at Fred Meyer and then $40 of it at Safeway, and then however much. I'm not going to put my total for my debts yet because I can't remember how many I have, and I'm going to do that later. Or if I spent $20 at, you know, the food co-op, I don't really care. So I don't track that. And then even, I don't know, even gas. Like I don't pull out cash for gas because that's a pain. I just leave it in the account and swipe my card. So I guess maybe I should probably do a weekly check-in, but I'm not going to do it right now because I know myself well enough to know that I'm not actually going to do it. If I can keep up with all of this stuff for this month, I will consider myself successful because I did nothing last month, like nothing. Well, I did this, but this was the only thing I did. I didn't even fill out my monthly budget for March. So anyways, I'm already off to a better start in April than I was in March. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with these pages. So I think that is going to be it. If you guys liked this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. If you are new here, do hit that red subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you can be notified of future uploads. Share this channel with your friends that you think might like this kind of content. I am trying to grow my channel, and I just appreciate every single one of you who have watched, and I hope that you're all doing well amidst all of this craziness that we're experiencing right now. And if there's anything that I can do for you guys, please do let me know. If there's any other kind of videos that you'd like to see at this point in time, go ahead and leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!